opinions expressed in this show belong to the person expressing them. They do not purport to reflect the opinions or views of Rancher or any other entity. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Coffee and Cloud Native, the show that shares news and interesting content related to Kubernetes, Cloud Native, and other nifty technology. My name is Adrian Goins, and I am stoked to be here with you today. Hoo-wee! If you're watching live, consider following or subscribing to the channel. No, subscribing to the channel. And if you're watching a replay, give the video a thumbs up so that the YouTube algorithm shares it with other people. Join the free community site and the Discord server. Yeah, live chat happens in Discord. There's a bot that relays between YouTube and Twitch, so just come hang out with us either during the show or after. And that's where the real action happens. So let's take a moment to say hello to those who are able to join us live today. I have like so many copies of myself up on the screen. Like I just said hello to and like it's terrifying. Who do we got in chat? I don't even have that up. I'm supposed to have that up. Ooh. Good morning, Nuno, Dirk, Ian. Hello. Hey, Dirk. Dirk posted some stuff on the community site a little while ago. Go check it out. There's some cool links there. Wifebot, Wojtek. Hey, Wojtek. Smalls is here. Peter Keach. Hello. Did I say hi to Ian? If I didn't say hi to Ian, hi, Ian. Are you still using your laptop that doesn't have the cool distortion microphone on it? I hope so. Frank, good morning. Incredible Mulk. I saw OFS come by a little while ago. Hello, yeah, there, OFS. Chrysalis. Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining. So many gifts. So much madness. So much crazy cray. Crazy cray? Did I just say that? All right. Oh, and of course, Trufflebot. It's good that Trufflebot joined us today. So quickly, news. Actually, there's not a lot of news today. Just remember that tomorrow is Shipwreck's deep dive into one of the tool of the day candidates. I'm not going to tell you which one. Just come check it out. It's going to be great. And with that, ooh, I spoke over the music. I'm sorry. Let's get started. There is no hot seat today. Why is there no hot seat today, you ask? There is no hot seat today because there's only 2 shows a week. And on days when there's a hot seat, we cover less stuff. So the hot seat will come back. It will come back randomly. But not today. We had everybody on the show last week. So yeah, today it's just going to be me jibber-jabbering about some stuff. The collector bots have gathered candidates for the show. Troublebot has scored them from 1 to 5 coffees. He will post them one at a time in Discord. Anyone watching live can rate them. I actually had this idea yesterday of taking that out of Discord and making it like an actual web page that people can go to. So even if you're not in Discord, oh my gosh, really? Wifebot? I'm getting out of that channel. 2 points for Wifebot. I totally lost what I was saying. Oh yeah, so a web page where maybe one day, like instead of talking about the things, I could just like burn through the backlog of stuff because I end up with a lot of stuff that just doesn't make it on the show. And it can be like, you know, explain it in 5 seconds. And everybody's like, awesome, or dumpster fire. And then we just move on to the next thing. Yeah, that also just sounds like work. Anyway, your votes are used to train the machine learning model that chooses content for the show. So all we have is Discord, but come in there and vote. First up today. I have to figure out where my chat window went. Where? Oh, it's right there. Where? I was super distracted this morning. I was like, my workday doesn't start for another 90 minutes, but currently in Chile time, that's 11 a.m. So I get up at 6:30, and so there's 4.5 hours. Is that right? Yes, 4.5 hours. Math is hard. So there's 4.5 hours during which I like prep the show and do some learning and do some whatever, depending on what the day is. And today I made the mistake of logging into the work chat server and logging in and checking work email, and that kind of started a conversation that I was like, I'm not working. Why am I working? I shouldn't be working. First up today, we have how to create. Oh, there might be some internet wonk. I didn't tell you that. The internet's being a little weird this morning. Hopefully it's not an issue. Whatever, we're gonna continue. How to create a self-contained and portable Kubernetes cluster with K3s and Packer. This is from Emmanuel Sys. We've had articles from Emmanuel on the show before. It's nice to see you again. And this talks about how you can do some cool stuff. So first of all, I was like, what the heck is Packer? I know Packer's been around for a while. I've heard of it. I've seen it go by, but never in a time when I was like, huh, let's go look at that. Packer is a pretty slick tool. It's actually a very slick tool from our friends at HashiCorp, where you can build automated machine images. So this allows you to template out the building of virtual machine ISOs for various hypervisors like VirtualBox. Wow, that's pretty cool. So it's like infrastructure as code for building ISOs that you can then use instead of infrastructure as code for building machines in real time. Okay, cool. Works out of the box with a bunch of different stuff. And a manual talks about how to use Packer for VirtualBox and then install K3s so that you've literally got like a VM that you can just spin up and you got a Kubernetes cluster, which he proposes as, I mean, sometimes you can use K3d. I would actually go this route because I'm on a Mac, and the way that Docker stuff on Mac works, it doesn't actually expose the network of the virtual machine where the container VM is actually running. So therefore you have to like port forward. And as a result, I just don't use K3d. But I've always been a fan of VirtualBox, and I've always been a fan of Vagrant, another HashiCorp tool that's wonderful. And it looks like I could actually just, with this, build customized boxes. Anyway, the rest of the article talks about how to actually build this out for the operating system, the installer, the pre-seed file. Packer exposes an HTTP server so that you can actually pull stuff in during the build process. That was cool enough that I highlighted it. And so on and so forth. Super cool. And then, of course, because it's all infrastructure as code goodness, you can just make changes, update, boom, you got a new box, and you can go on with your day. So thank you very much, Emmanuel Sis, for that. Next up, this one's fun. Alex Georgiev, probably butchered that. Sorry. At least I didn't say Georgiev. Not that American. Anyway, Alex created an article about basically how to build a bash random password. I just heard Wifebot laughing. She just heard me butcher the butchering of the name. Wifebot's originally from Russia, so she loves when I speak fake Russian. Anyway, this introduces something that I've actually used for years. And so I'll go from this into the other thing. But basically, there are all sorts of ways that you can generate random passwords when you just need a random password. Remember the days when you used to have to sit down and think, and you're like, okay, my dog's name, plus my wife's birthday in reverse. And now it's just like I use 1Password and I'm like, just make me a password. I want it to be 24 characters of total randomness. And literally like you could rubber hose me and I'll give you the master password probably, maybe, I don't know. Depends on my mood that day. All right, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. Anyway, so here are a couple of ways. So he just shows you like, date, pipe that to MD5 sum, SHA-256 sum, base 64, and so on. And then this introduced me to something that I'd never seen before, which is the fold command, which will take long text and wrap it at a certain character width. That's cool. That also introduced me to expand and unexpand, which I didn't know existed either. Expand will take tabs and turn them into spaces, and unexpand will take spaces and turn them back into tabs. So if you're catting a file in the shell, you don't have to worry about all that weird wonk of like, 8 space tabs and 4 space tabs and stuff like that. His bash script is relatively basic. He's using the trcd, bringing in from dev random, but I want to show you, and I'll actually paste this in the chat. This is an article from 2019. I'll paste this in the live chat right now. So this is an article from 2019 that has 10 different ways to create super total random passwords from the command line. They all effectively do the same thing. You can just pick the one. Oh, in fact, look at that. Does that look familiar? Okay, well, none of this stuff is new. Everything's a remix. Anyway, I turned one of these into a fish script shell. Hey, Trufflebot. Let's get out of that. So I turned this into a thing a while ago that basically just sets a password. One of my favorite things on Mac is the pb copy and pb paste commands, where you can pipe something into PB copy, and then it's like on the clipboard. You can go and paste it somewhere else. So this just sets a character length of 32. I do a DD from dev random, and then I run it through base 64, and then I do some transposition to take out all of the garbage, so I'm left with just regular alphanumeric stuff. Then I reverse it, and then I do some cut. I don't remember why, and then I reverse it again, because why the heck not? But the net of it is I can just say genpass 32, and blam! I'm given some... Make that super big for you. Is that big enough for you? Can you see it now? So yeah, genpass 32, boom, password. Genpass 32, boom, password. And these are great. If I want something that's like, you know, stupidly big, well, genpass 64. And then I just don't have to think about it anymore. And I take these, I save them in 1Password, and I'll just don't show up at my house with a rubber hose. So there you go. Really, Nuno? Really? My gosh, I'm getting back out of that room. Okay, so anyway, thank you for that, Alex Georgiev. Use stronger passwords. I just saw somebody post in the live chat that they've been using like ABC Cat 345. If you ever think your password is awesome, go run it through a Rainbow Tables site. You realize that it's not that awesome. Here we have an article. Well, here we have an article. This is from James Hunt. And even though this just surfaced on Hacker Noon a few days ago, it's actually an article I discovered from March of 2020 because Stark and Wayne are posting all their old content on Hacker Noon and pretending that it's new. Not so excited about that. However, it does introduce the fact that you can create arbitrary kubectl commands, plugins, with zero magic. Basically, all it does is it just looks in your path for something called kubectl dash whatever the command is. In this case, he decides that his command is going to be fu. I don't know how many of you have ever said that to Kubernetes. I know I have, but I don't know that it necessarily needs a plugin. I bet kubectl fu should nuke the cluster. How's that? And then like send a resignation letter to my boss. That was a joke. If my boss is watching, that was a joke. That was a joke. Anyway, kubectl, maybe he meant foo. But foo is F-O-O. Everybody knows. Everybody who does Linux is F-O. Anyway, so kubectl foo, basically you just create something fu, blah, blah, blah. And then he gives, you know, an example of how to actually use this. This is cool. And this leads us to something that Shipwreck found yesterday. Which is from our friend Brad Giesemann as well. Don't just go running arbitrary kubectl plugins. Shipwreck and I had a conversation about under what circumstances somebody might install a kubectl plugin and also run it without knowing what it did. And I believe that the intersection of all of the things that have to happen in a person's makeup, not like makeup, but like their level of experience, their understanding of security, their access to a Kubernetes cluster, and so on. I thought the intersection was relatively small. He thinks it's larger than that, and clearly Brad Giesemann thinks it's large enough that he created a demonstration that when you run kubectl honk, it says, boom, you could have just been owned, baby. But you weren't, because I'm a nice guy. So, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's super easy, be secure, and so on. When I saw this next one, I posted it to Shipwreck as from the Department of Bad Ideas. But it's not actually a bad idea. It's an interesting idea, and it's a unique way to solve a problem that Pavel's team had in, where does he work? Palo Alto. I paused there because I'm wondering if it's actually Pavel. I'm looking at the Zagalski, and that's not Polish enough for it to be Pavel. So we're gonna say Pavel. Okay, you don't have the w, the little thing for that. Oh. I try to do people's names correctly. It's a challenge. So in his department, apparently people needed to spin up Kubernetes clusters or OpenShift clusters. Okay, you know. I like how OpenShift says, nah, we're Kubernetes, yet everybody says there's Kubernetes and there's OpenShift. You know, how many times do people have to tell you what you are before you get a saddle? If anybody knows what that's a reference to, post it in the chat. I won't see it. I'll see it later. Wifebot will tell me. Anyway, they created a Chrome extension where you can go, where's their, yeah, so here it is. So they created a Chrome extension where from your browser, you can go and you can pick what you want to do, where you want to do it, what version you want, how you want the runtime to be, and go blam. And it spins up, let me jump back up here. On GCP, it'll spin up OpenShift. It can spin up OpenShift on AWS, or it can spin up Kubernetes on GCP. And then it has this whole integration with Mongo and Jenkins and a whole bunch of other stuff. One thing that he refers to is something called the Shiva API. And I looked up Shiva API web service, and the only thing I could find was like some weird music sharing thing that I don't think is what he's repurposed. If anybody knows what that is, please share. And then the other thing about this is he doesn't actually post any of the code that they used to do this. So you can't copy it, unfortunately. If it's something that you would be interested in, let me know directly. And when the tweets for this go out, I'll see if we can get Pavel's attention and see if he'd be willing to share that code. But you have to tell me, well, whatever. You can tell me whenever you want. If you tell me today, the tweets will go out tomorrow. If you tell me in the future, well, if I can figure out who he is, I'm happy to harass him on your behalf. What do you think? Good idea or bad idea? Should people be able to, like, does it need to be a Chrome extension? I don't know. Regardless, it's pretty cool. From the Department of Bad Ideas. Oh, hey, we were just talking about 1Password. Wow. How convenient. I did not know, or I might have known and forgotten. It's probably actually the truth. 1Password has a CLI. What? So with 1Password Teams, you can store stuff. Oh, somebody just beeped at me. Who's beeping at me? What do you want? Oh, Mac. Mac said it gives him the cold shivas. Mac's our resident one-liner comedian. Okay. So yeah, so 1Password has a CLI, and this is an article on how you can use the CLI. Of course, it's, sign-in based. It's a local command line tool, so you log in. But how to extract secrets, passwords, from the 1Password vault to using your local shell scripts. So like, I go to do stuff in the database, and I go to 1Password, and I look for the database thing, and I copy it, and then I come over and I paste it, and no, I'm wasting energy. Just go grab the database password and then pipe it into a variable and send it off to do the thing. Mind blown! I thought this was really cool. So thank you, Stuart, for sharing this with us. You can apparently use the 1Password CLI. If you're already doing this, tell us in the chat. If you're watching later, tell us in the comments. Yeah. I thought it was neat. Neat. Super neat. Not everybody else thought it was as neat as I did. But you're wrong. This is only my second cup of coffee today. I tried to get, oh, hey, Mac replied. Interesting. Okay. So I tried to get some commentary lined up for this next one because I don't do Java stuff anymore. But the person that I thought Mac did Java stuff. Where he works, they do Java stuff. But he said he's not directly a Java developer. If there are any people who do Java in the chat, I'm curious to know your thoughts on this. So first off, you got Apache Camel is a Java framework which simplifies the life of developers by forcing them to write really crazy, complicated stuff. But maybe that's simpler than what they were doing before. I think it is, because I think before you had to do this differently in multiple different ways that was less convenient. Now they've taken all of that differenceness, word of the day, differenceness, and consolidated it into one thing. And there's a DSL for it, so great. Integration DSL. This shows an example of copying a file from Dropbox to something local. Okay, great. Camel K does this for Kubernetes. And it is actually really cool. I know that there's been so much stuff happening with Java, with Quarkus and whatever the other thing is. Mac will tell me because I know that they use it over there to make Java not the big bloated bloat anchor that it used to be. And now apparently you can spin up Java VMs and like just have stuff or containers or whatever and have stuff like lightning fast. That's cool. So Camel K enables all of the Camel functionality inside of a container that it builds for you. So you can write integrations in Groovy, Java, JavaScript, Kotlin, XML, YAML, where's Python? And so here you go. Here's, kind of what it looks like. If you speak YAML, you'll recognize that this looks scarier than it actually is. Wow, that's a really long comment. And so this will read files from a bucket, transform. This is just an example. He had this like use case of taking a single CSV file and then converting it to, you can't see my mouse, taking a single CSV file and converting it to a bunch of individual CSVs based on rows within S3. So it takes it from a bucket, chews on it, and then spits it out somewhere else. And so that's basically what that YAML does. But when you apply this, it actually builds the Quarkus application with the provided flow as a configuration. It creates a container image from it. It pushes it out to a registry. Then it goes over to Kubernetes. It creates a deployment for the integration, and then it applies it, and it does everything for you from just the application of this integration. And that's pretty neat. I'm a huge fan of things that say, okay, to get from A to B, there's 964 steps. Let's make that into 4 and profit. I heard my name again. We're doing Kafka on Kube at the moment, but not Camel itself. All right. So I don't know how to rate if that's actually cool or not. What did you guys say? We got some people in there who hate Java. It's nice. Welcome to the show. It's nicely mixed. I'm going to give it a 4. Java haters. Next. Next we have this. Actually, I think this came from Mac. Mac, this came from you, didn't it? This was one of the show suggestions. The system isn't built right now for me to record who actually made the suggestion, so if I don't give you a shout out for making the suggestion, I apologize. Just know that I love you, even though I don't know who you are. Anyway, Cast has a product that will allow you to spin up clusters through them in multiple clouds, and allegedly they do all of the provisioning and migration and stuff to reduce your cost by a lot. It is also free for under 20 CPUs. Oh, early bird price. Yeah, early birds get 20 CPUs for free. So I guess it's not going to stay free forever, but if you want to take it for a drive, go create an account and take it for a spin. These solutions are awesome and totally freak me out, because the idea of entrusting that something is going to take my workloads, granted, totally stateless workloads that there's not any data backing them. Fine, I get it. But stateful workloads, things with persistent volumes, things that need to be close to the database that they're talking to, I would like to know more, and I'm sure it's in their docs, but before I go and roll this out, I need to know more about how they're doing all of that so that I don't entrust the business to them and then have them screw it up. As a general concept, I think this is cool. I love how their savings calculator starts with, how much do you spend on cloud? $20,000 a month. No, I spend $250 a month. I spend 0 on egress. Approximate CPU count, 950. No, 12. How many stateful workloads? I don't know, 5%? I got a database or something like that. But traffic fluctuates periodically. So even with my meager little $250 a month that I spend on DigitalOcean, they claimed that they could get that down to $59 a month. Earlier when I ran the same thing, it said $71 a month. I don't know how they're doing the math. That's compelling, even for, me running stuff myself. So I might look into this. If any of the rest of you look into it and have any feedback on it, let us know. Come to the chat and tell us. This might be the next evolution of Spotinst or something like that. Okay. Today's show had an average rating of 4 coffees. Yeah, that looks to be accurate. 4 coffees every single show. We get the shows have an average rating of 4 coffees so consistently that I went back and checked if I was doing the math right, and I am. I mean, actually, I wasn't, but I am now, and it still says the same thing, so that's cool. What time is it now? Oh. Why doesn't the tool of the day jingle run automatically again? Trufflebot. Tool of the day. Kubectl. OS query. I had to do some digging last night because I thought for sure we had this on the show before. And my brain, like, I look at so much content that it's beyond a certain point in the past, it just all blurs. And it's like, I don't know if it was on the show, if I just saw it, if somebody told me about it, if I dreamt about it, I don't know. But basically, you've got OS Query, which is a tool for querying operating systems about things using SQL statements. And kubectl brings that to Kubernetes. So the article shows how you can create SQL statements for multi-cluster stuff and bring all that information back and do stuff with it. It runs on... So their support statement's a little bit confusing. So all Kubernetes API resources are supported. kubectl will support all Kubernetes supported versions. Let's go look at what that is. All major Kubernetes distributions and SaaS offerings will also be supported. I don't know what that means. They're not supported now. And these include generic Kubernetes, OpenShift, EKS, GKE, AKS, etc. So based on that statement, it supports everything. Oh, they sent us to supported versions. Okay, so whatever Kubernetes currently supports, so they're not going to support 1.2. And how do you make this work? Where's their actual GitHub repo? Well, the article goes through like how to actually do it. Learn more and get started. So there you go. Upticks kubectl. That's the actual thing. I'll paste that in the chat too, if somebody didn't already do it. Live chat. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it. Query the state of your clusters with SQL, and then stuff that data into something else to do something with it. SQL-based analytics for Kubernetes. Oh my gosh, we're out of time. Really? Shoot. I tried to start the tool of the day early so that I could actually have some time to talk about it. Let's go back to the article then. And see what people are doing with this. So output looks like, yeah, so like output stuff is a table. I mean, it's a basic thing. I don't really know that I have much more that I can say about it besides it's really cool. So I don't think I'm going to say anything else. kubectl. Let's see what you guys felt about that. Huh, okay. Then I guess I'm just going to end the show. That's it. That's it. That's all for today. We don't need to have that up there anymore. Thank you so much for tuning in. Links to everything that I talk about on the show go up in the free community site at community.cncn.io after the show ends. Come join us. Community members get early access to the links, video replay, and other exclusive content. And those of you who are confused about how new shows show up on YouTube on days when there is no show, it's because it's the day previous. So if you're in the community site, you will actually get the replay link and all of the links and all of that stuff in the community site on the same day. If you're out in the rest of the world, oh, and those videos don't have ads. If you're in the rest of the world and you watch this after 24 hours, well, that's cool. Thank you very much. I make like a quarter of a penny off of you. And that's great. So join the community site. You'll get early access to all that stuff. If you have something you'd like me to consider for the show, post it in the community site or post it in the show suggestions channel on Discord, and I will take a look. Have a great day, everyone. Keep learning. Stay out of meetings. I'll see you in the next show. Remember, shipwreck, rockin' and rollin' tomorrow. Stay caffeinative.